Hey guys,
Hello.
it's SWRUManga here with our first podcast.
Why is that a question again?
Sorry,
It's our first podcast, guys. Hi.
yeah, be more authoritative, I suppose. It's our first podcast. Welcome.
It's not authoritative, it's confident.
Confident, fine, whatever.
Learn.
Either way, it's our first podcast. Welcome. We're very glad that you have come to listen to us talk about random stuff for 30 minutes to an hour. We don't know.
We're just kind of playing by ear, really.
Yeah. Either way, hopefully it's a good time.
The only time when we have some free time.
Pretty much, we're doing this on our weekends instead of the weekdays because we're busy during the weekdays. Anyway, on the docket today, we're going to be running through a quick introduction to who we are, what we're about. If you've found us through like manga readers or Twitter, you probably already know a little bit about who we are, what we're going to do, but we're here to just like kind of fill out a bit more of the details.
Or you might have seen our first blog post, which I wrote, by the way.
Yes, she's our resident blog post writer.
I'm not very catchy.
Yeah, I'm not very good at writing blog posts, but yeah,
That's my job.
that's your job. Okay, so what we're about, where to find us. So if you already found us through like Twitter or Facebook or whatever, you already kind of know, but we're just going to have a run through of that. Basically, summary is get a Twitter account because you can find us and everything we do through Twitter.
Yeah, all our updates go up on there. Like when we post something new on Manga Raiders, we'll say so on Twitter, and similar for like the blogs and the podcasts and everything.
Pretty much. And then after that, in this segment, we'll go on to talking a little bit more in detail about our actual first project, which and all kind of like the difficulties we came across when doing it, a little bit more details about the characters, maybe the plot. We'll kind of see whether it gets into spoiler town or not. We'll have to discuss that, kind of the future of the project. And after that segment, we will be having a little bit of just casual discussion about kind of the animes which are showing this season, as well as kind of any other animes we're kind of catching up on or kind of just watching these days. And we'll also probably chat about the kind of movies that are coming out.
Ooh, taboo topic right there.
Yeah, obviously we haven't seen them yet. We're going off the trailers. Some of them haven't even been released yet. But we got trailers, so we'll discuss through that. And then after that, we'll have a little bit of kind of just random chat about life, I suppose. Get to know us a little bit better. And then after that, we might have a little bit more, a little bit less. We'll kind of see how timing goes. But hopefully, that'll be good enough of a intro about what we're doing. So let's kick off with kind of like an introduction to what SWRUManga is. Go for it.
Oh, it's my job now? Okay.
I mean, like, sure. Do you...
Okay, yeah, sure, put me on the spot. Right, so we're two long-time friends. How long have you known each other, actually? It's been...
Oh my god. It's one heck of a question.
7, 8 years?
Yeah,
Seven?
something ridiculous like that, definitely.
Yeah. So we've been friends for a very long time, and we're both into manga and anime. That's how we met, actually. And we both have an interest in writing, and we've been studying like how to write books and looking at how to create tense stories and how to keep audiences engaged and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Kind of like, how much anime have you watched now? Is it like, it's over 100, obviously.
I'm pretty sure I'm close to like 300.
Close to 300. Yeah, a little bit of background on like kind of how much anime, manga, like otaku culture we've kind of experienced.
Yeah.
I've clocked up over like 300 anime series that I've kind of dropped off in the amount that I've been watching over like this year, last year in particular, because of like life, work, obviously. But definitely like the oldies, like the period of like Suzumi Haruhi, like Star and all that good old good old stuff I've seen, pretty much.
I've got you beat on how old anime you've watched, though, because I've also watched Ranma Half, and that came out, I think, 1989.
That is true. That is incredibly old.
Although, I haven't watched Dragon Ball.
Yeah, Dragon Ball was a little too boring for me when I was watching it.
I don't know. I just kind of never got into it, and then later on, I can't really get into it now because it's so long.
It is. It's very long.
It's so long.
Yeah.
I can't. Anyway.
Pretty much. Yeah, I think the oldest one I saw was probably Trigun. Trigun has a pretty old art style. I'm not too sure if it beats you in terms of date. That'll be something to Google up later. Feel free to do that. It's a pretty fun series. The SWRUManga-chan here has dropped the series halfway through.
I haven't dropped it, okay? It's on indefinite hiatus.
Yes. It's super fun. It also has a movie out, and that was pretty fun as well. Anyway, so that's a little bit background on us. In terms of manga, we've read a bit. We haven't actually read that much manga.
I remember there was one time, a few years back, I had this phase where I was only reading manga, just really random ones, just on Manga Fox, just one after the other. But I, for the life of me, can't remember any of them right now.
I think one manga that I did read was the entirety of Asu no Yoichi, because I was just really bored one day. I think it literally translates to samurai harem. So, could I read anything more Japanese anime otaku culture than that? It's
samurais and harems.
There's samurais, and there's girls jumping all over him. So
yeah. Just about sums up a lot of otaku culture right there.
Pretty much. And also right by my side here, I got the Negima Omnibus 1 and 2. And I did actually read the entirety of that series.
I read that too. I borrowed it from you, didn't I?
Yeah, it was okay. It's quite ecchi. Quite ecchi,
no,
indeed.
of course. Main girl, it's Sun, isn't she?
Yeah, main girl is
always the one with the twin tails.
Yeah, twin tails is equal to Sun. There's a big tropism in the industry. Anyway, anything more about us in terms... Oh yeah, we've kind of we have been studying plot structures and how to kind of create a story, because we had ideas that we wanted to make, but then discovered, is it as easy as just putting pen to paper and just doing it? And then a simple Google search will tell you absolutely not.
Hell no.
You idiot child, naive little child. And so I've been spending last year or two kind of studying on writing characters, characterization, plot writing, plot structures. One of the main kind of resources, mentors I've been using is Mr. Michael Haig, which is a video I will put up later next week, in a couple of days, basically Tuesday. This will go up on Sunday when we do this recording. And yeah, it's like an hour-long podcast, kind of interview, featuring Michael Haig, obviously, and he goes through his plot structure, which is, I feel, is quite strong, and
it's quite common as well.
It does explain kind of the common bits, but it's, if you kind of think of a story, I mean, we've all been taught a story needs a beginning, middle, and end, but
there are beats within.
There are a lot more beats within that. So he's I've used his word to kind of guide me along.
Lesson to take back, guys, is that the number of people who sit in English class going, do writers really put that much thought into their work? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
It is yes, and you should never ever question it again.
Yeah, basically our first project now called Flare Project.
At the moment, Flare Project Asterisk. Yeah,
name is work in progress. What has it been, 5 months?
I don't know, it feels like ages.
Yeah, it's been at least 5 months, and that's just purely the kind of story outline, the main beats of the story, and kind of the main characters involved. Even now we're still kind of working on the side characters, so while we would want to put like full-time work into it. We unfortunately have full-time jobs and need to earn that paper. as the youth call it, I believe.
They call it paper nowadays?
I don't know, shouldn't they call it plastic? Because it's all cards now, isn't it? Or
I've
phone.
seen the new £5 note though.
Yeah?
Plastic.
Yeah.
Plastic.
Oh, they've gone from paper back to plastic. Very interesting. Yeah, we live here in London, UK, England. So yes, we
As
have
you can
pounds.
tell by the accents.
We have pounds, not dollars, or whatever you Americans probably use. I don't know. I don't know what our audience is gonna be. Probably America. America's big.
America is not a country. It's a continent. Okay, fine. It is a country, officially speaking, but geographically speaking, it's a continent.
Anyway, so we're using.
Fine then.
So we're using pounds because we're in England, and yeah, so we got some new pound coins as well now, which just feel like Monopoly money.
They do. It's really light, but I heard that the reason they made it 12-sided is because to make it harder to counterfeit.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know how that works, but okay.
Yeah, sounds interesting. Yeah. How did we get on this tangent?
I don't know.
Rediverting us back on topic.
Flare project, yes.
Flare project. So yeah, basically with life. Yeah. So I'll put in like half a year into it. We kind of think probably it'll take another like good couple of months of planning. Hopefully not, because dear God, is it dragging on a little bit? But I mean, like, it's better to spend a long time making sure we're totally happy with it. It's better to overplan than underplan, I suppose. And then after that, it'll be putting pen to paper. I say that, but I'll be using a word processing software. So putting fingers to keyboard and probably typing up the screenplay for that. And then we'll probably kind of shelve that for a couple of days, refer back to it, see if kind of opinions have changed on it, and then change, polish, blah blah blah, that stuff. And
You're forgetting something very important here.
Oh gasp! What have I forgetting?
Feedback from them.
Of course. Very good point. Of course, that's why we're on Manga Raiders, so we can open up discussions. We can post up at least like probably a spoiler-free version of our screenplay, probably.
See, this is where I come to you with questions. How much detail can we actually go into?
Yeah.
Like what will constitute as enough information for people to feel invested and feel interested?
Yeah.
But not go into spoiler town so that they're like, oh, I already know the story. I don't need your story anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that is a major question to ask. That's something for us to definitely think about. Probably take suggestions from you guys, because we're going to be coming to you guys for the discussion points.
Yeah, what do you think? How much would you want to know to then later on wish to actually read the story?
Yeah, because we don't want to like spoil everything, do we?
No, well, no.
Yeah.
But we do want to still share what we have.
Because we definitely appreciate feedback. And this would be a good way to get feedback from like a larger audience. Because like even if we work on it for like 6 months or a year, in the end it's still just two people.
Yeah, and we have very similar tastes, so it's highly likely we'll just agree with each other.
Yeah, so basically we're gonna put that question out to you guys. But for now, kind of on a weekly kind of podcast, I guess we'll just kind of go through very top level things for now. So like kind of elevator pitch almost, and then kind of see how that goes.
Can we not call it an elevator pitch? My manager wants me to work on an elevator pitch, and I'm just like, whenever you say it, it reminds me of whack. I don't want to.
Right, it's a lift discussion.
You.
Name in progress as well.
Okay.
Anyway, sure. So,
Speaking of names in progress, all of our characters have names in progress as well.
Basically, yeah. Oh god, naming characters
it's
is so difficult.
It's the hardest bit, in my opinion. It's so much more easy to think of a personality, a background story, a motivation, but thinking of a name, I don't know. What works? Tell me.
It's so hard. It's so incredibly difficult. Actually, interesting point that I learned a couple of a couple of weeks ago, in fact, in loads of Hollywood movies. So, you know, like, if you don't want your life a little bit ruined when watching Hollywood movies, just shut your ears off for like 1 minute from now. A lot of characters in Hollywood movies have the initials J.C. So, like, John Connor of, like, the Terminator series, for example, was a point that the video pointed out. And JC, Jesus Christ, the Redeemer, he self-sacrifices himself, and it's a weirdly noticeable trend in Hollywood movies.
So wait, thinking about hero characters.
Hero characters that self-sacrifice, like Jesus Christ sacrificed himself on the cross for, like, the sins of mankind.
Bruce Wayne, no.
No, but a lot of people do. You'll know. We'll Google it.
What's Superman's name?
His Kal-El. But
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. We'll Google it later. I might find the video and post it in the description below of this video.
Okay.
It's a weird trend. Yeah.
Strange.
It is. But yeah, naming characters is super difficult. We've basically gone the brute force route. Almost. We printed off, as you can hear. Here, this is a print off.
You're a massive waste of paper. Yes.
It's like 50 pages of let's see, unofficial list of baby boy names in California, 2015. Yeah.
Why California again?
Because it was the one that came up on Google, and it's so hard just to find a huge list of names, just really easily printable off YouTube. Oh, not YouTube. No, off Google. So, yeah, I thought, well, California is about 50 pages. It'll probably give us a pretty good...
Oh, Google is meant to be a best friend, you know. Sometimes very useful, sometimes not at all useful.
Very much. And so we've done that with the male names and the female names. There are a lot of names which we would never use. For example, there's like... What is there that we hated? I think there was actually some people called like Kal-El after like Superman.
No, not that. What I feel bad for is that dozen people in California are actually called Baby Boy.
Yeah, that was really strange.
Parents are naming their sons Baby Boy. Can you... What?
Yeah, there are some really ridiculous names in here. There's like Sonny, which isn't like too crazy, but
Sonny's fine, but
yeah, Sheldon, you know, Big Bang Theory.
Yeah. No, there's also quite a few people called Jesus.
Yes, there are a lot of people named Jesus.
I think it was like 100.
Yeah.
It was like 100 people called Jesus.
Is it 100? I thought it was like nearer to 1,000.
Was it? Where's the J? Where are the J's?
J-I-G... Jesus, 873 people are named Jesus.
Although this is in 2015.
This is in 2015, so, you know, I don't think they've done many name changes, I'm assuming, though. Yeah, either way. So a lot of strange names out there.
Yes.
Very unique, as they say, very, very unique.
Very unique.
Very different. Interesting.
At this point, you need to slurp your coffee very loudly.
Lukewarm. It's not even lukewarm, it's just cold now. But it's still really nice.
It would taste nice if you put ice.
Yeah, it is getting actually quite a bit warm anyway. We should stop talking about the weather. And
so being the classic British people, we're talking about weather.
Weather. Next we'll be talking about cues and, you know, the rain and having tea and with biscuits. Our crumpets.
Biscuits. You need biscuits. Our rich tea biscuits.
Yes. Jolly good. Yes. Very British.
Aye.
Anyway. Are we even in our next segment?
Not really. No, we keep going off in tangents.
Yeah, so let's head on to our next.
People are gonna think we have ADHD.
Probably. I mean, like. Anyway.
I feel like we should talk a little bit about our characters, though, because we have the main characters.
Yes. Let's talk characters.
Mm.
Who do you want to talk about?
Oh God.
We got our kind of main cast, so we got our main character. Then we got LG, GG.
LG, the company.
LG,
Your phone
GG.
is LG, isn't it?
It is. CG and Mr. T. Mr. T.
Okay, so our main cast is a group of 5.
It's a group of 5, yeah.
It's a group of 5. And we have our lead.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a girl. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoilers from now on. It's a girl.
It's a girl.
Yep. Name. I don't think name is a spoiler. So
name's not a spoiler, but we're kind of switching between 2 right now, are we? Or...
I'm leaning towards the second one.
Okay.
I'm leaning towards Remy.
Yeah. So we're at the moment she is tentatively named Remy.
Yep.
And LG. What is it? Spoilers to say what LG stands for?
Probably
because it's his personality.
Yes, I think it's probably fine to give him like top level personality stuff. So
Right.
LG is for
Logical guy. So that's his sort of main dominant impression.
Yes, he's very logical. He's been through like some hardships in his story. Mm-hmm. He's generally like more of like the serious type, more logical, kind of
thinks things through in detail before making any sort of comment.
Yeah, he's quite a little bit calculating almost. Yeah. Kind of the role he plays in the story is that... Is this a spoiler?
Ooh, we don't know.
We don't know. Okay, so let's leave that out for now.
Yeah.
Okay, GG.
GG stands for Genki Guy.
Genki Guy.
Okay. So all our anime fans, you will know what Genki means. But what does Genki mean, SWRU-kun?
So, for those who have not experienced Japanese or just like otaku
people
culture,
who are not weebs like us.
Pretty much. Genki means kind of like excitable or excited.
Cheerful.
Kind of like very almost hyper a little bit.
Maybe not hyper, but yeah. But high energy.
High energy, yes. And his role in the story, kind of...
Also going into spoiler
territory.
But,
yeah. Anyway.
We'll leave that one up to you again.
Mr. T
is Tactician Dude.
So
I feel like his and Logical Dude's personalities overlap a little bit.
A little bit. They're sort of similar, but like definitely not the same.
No,
like Tacticians.
No, for sure.
Tacticians, he's like logical, but he's also got like kind of this emotional side to him, especially considering
he's
CG.
Oh yes.
Yes, is that a spoiler as well?
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. CG and Mr. T have some emotional issues or conflicts, strifes between them. Yeah.
Yeah, so CG stands for Curious Girl, which is for the second female within this group of very different people. Well, are they actually? Because, we kind of made Curious Girl and Remy similar in many ways, but also opposites in many ways.
Yeah. So, no, those two are definitely gonna butt heads a lot, but CG Curious Girl is definitely gonna find a little bit of like common ground between them, but that's going to just make her hate the main character more. Yeah.
Is that spoilers though?
I mean, too late now. Plus, it's just a little bit. It's fine. Yeah. We'll be alright.
It's okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of our main cast. So that's 3 guys, 2 gals. 2 gals, yeah.
Gals.
And then our main side characters, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a couple of extra ones who are side characters.
And right now we're trying to, well, I think there's a bit of an art in this as well, is because they're side characters, so they don't need a lot of the limelight. They just kind of need to be highlighted, but they also need to feel like people who have lives of their own.
Yeah.
So how to bring that into the story without, giving them an entire backstory, telling the audience everything in a big exposition dump.
Yeah, very much. And
Yeah.
we definitely don't want them just to remain as like tropes. Just like, that's, the quiet one, or that's the tsundere type, or that's
We
the
definitely
blank.
don't want twin tails in there.
Very much. And then, yeah, we want to make them a bit different, a bit unique, but also not have them kind of take away the show from the main cast. So it's a bit of a balancing act. And it's just one of the many interesting hurdles we have to kind of overcome when kind of creating. I'm sure any of you writers out there have kind of met the same issue where maybe even you've created a side character which is like so interesting to you that you inadvertently have made them
The main.
too interesting.
Yeah, they end up being the main.
And they end up becoming the main, or you have to find a way to integrate them into the main cast.
That happened at first when we were planning the main characters, weren't we? Where like Tactician turned out a lot stronger than Remy did, so we had to redo Remy all over
yeah,
again.
we did.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you can hear, it's just like character creation is like pretty annoying. It's really fun though.
Yeah, it's been good fun. I've liked knocking ideas about, and, and then kind of finding a character's not strong enough, and then so starting up from the beginning again to make them stronger.
Yeah.
Or maybe one day we'll just change tack and make the stronger character the main character.
I mean, that might happen one day with one of our projects. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, literally for one of the characters, we just did like a brainstorming session where we came up with like 20 different personalities or like background stories for them,
And then see if that fit
and
with
then
the rest.
saw which one fit the best, had the most interesting conflicts. So hopefully all our hard work does pay off in the end. But for now, it's definitely, we're still dwelling on ideas, still in the creation stage. Absolutely, we don't want to rush. In particular, we don't really have a timeline. We just like really want to do
Wanted to do it well.
do this justice, because there are so many animes and so many mangas which just don't hit everything
But
well enough.
no, you mentioning this actually brings up one of my pet peeves about what people have to say with anime.
Yeah.
For example, let's say if I point out like a flaw in an anime or something, and I hear the comment, "Are you taking anime seriously?"
Oh no.
No. There's nothing wrong with that comment in itself. My issue is that that people say that regarding all anime. But my point is, if the anime is tackling a serious theme, it has a serious tone, it wants to be taken seriously, why would I not take it seriously?
Yeah. I think a fundamental issue of that, them saying that, is that they're almost kind of just generalizing anime as just like, it's not really a real art form. It's not really just, it's just silly.
The thing is, it also suggests that, if an anime is meant to be light and fluffy, it doesn't necessarily need to have good writing. But there are anime out there which have great writing that makes sense, but are light and fluffy and nice to watch. A good example would be Ore Monogatari from a few seasons ago, which was a really nice, fluffy rom-com. It's really sweet, and it had good writing. Things made sense. There was character consistency. The dialogue, I guess, could have been less on the nose, but that's a topic for another time.
Yeah, so in terms of just people taking critiques of, you can love the shit out of something and still know that it's not perfect. It's like, just because someone's offering a piece of like criticism about something you enjoy, say whether it's anime, whether it's manga, whether it's a movie or a novel, like, you can love it. And then if someone says, well, they found one of the characters to be like too shallow or like not that engaging, not too interesting,
It's not an attack.
it's not an attack on you. It's not an attack on the things you like. You don't need to step up to the plate and defend it. You're not the defender of the series. Yeah. Just like, you know what? Now that I think about it, that character wasn't the strongest. I kind of see your point, but to me, I really like that character.
Yeah.
And I thought they were, like, realistic for me. When you think about it, all that stories are is a way to
convey
emotion and make you able to believe that the character that you're reading or watching is a real character. So if it feels real to you, for another person, they might have seen that same character 1,000 times before. They might have, it might be a trope to them. But to you, if you're first experiencing that character, you could go, oh my god, that's really interesting. That's really new. I've never seen that before.
Because majority of the time, because if you think about it, there aren't really many sort of things to write about in terms of, like, premise. All premises have been done. So what stories have come to now is more about getting invested in the character's plight, and so that you're able to rally behind them and root for them and hope that they're able to achieve what they want to achieve. So it's more about the execution. Not saying that you can't have original ideas anymore. You can do, but it's a lot harder now because so much has been done.
A counterpoint to that, I would say, is that just taking a different perspective on the same premise, for example, is almost a different way of seeing the things. For example, there was a movie that I've been dying to watch. It was called Eye in the Sky. And it's been rated very highly. It's about... So it's during the middle of, like, a warring period, and there's a group of people in a conference room who have a drone strike ready to hit this house of terrorists, where terrorists are residing. And the entire plot of the movie is just focusing on this single... single plot point of the drama involved with, are they going to press the button and unleash the drone strike because there are civilians nearby, but is it for the greater good that they're going to press the button and destroy the entire place, kill the terrorists, and also hurt the civilians, or whether they're going to back out and not do that. And the entire conflict isn't about saving the world. It isn't about this huge overarching epic storyline. It's just focused on a single chunk of this war that is going on in the background, but they're just focusing on a single point. And I think just taking a different perspective and really focusing down and really making that execution really well can make it feel really fresh and really new. And I'm really excited to see that movie eventually. When we have time. We've been quite busy.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, and should we talk about themes?
Like?
About Flare Project? So, one major theme is the theme about kind of half-truths or lies.
Yes, that's one big theme.
Yeah.
Another big theme, I guess, is the word retribution in this case?
Yeah.
Or is it redemption?
Redemption
is the word, yeah.
Yeah, so as if you've read our kind of lift discussion line, it's about... in fact, let me just read it out now. Let's go for it. We're doing it live.
Okay, right.
Okay. It's a tale about a determined girl who becomes a defender of her home village. So it's kind of small scale. It's not about, like, the big epic world. We're keeping it kind of focused down to a single village against some kind of enemy, which, name in progress.
Again.
Which attempts to wipe them out. But an oversight leads to, horrific injuries to the people who trust her. So... I wonder who those could be. And later on in the story, she attempts to redeem herself whilst her village is attempting to defend against, like, this huge onslaught of enemies. And we're really going to focus down on that kind of, like, redemption of her effective failure. Yeah.
No drama, regret, and sacrifice waiting to be brought to life in manga form. Well written, well written.
Yeah. So yeah, there's gonna be a huge undertone of like deep regret and just like emotional turmoil for one of the characters. Or actually, probably all the characters. Actually, all of them.
All the feels.
Yeah, it's gonna.
All the feels.
Yeah, we got some like really harrowing, sad scenes coming up, and
don't scare them away, God.
It's gonna be cheerful and fun. Sorry, guys.
We have comedy in there too, don't we? Do we?
I'm pretty sure we do. What?
We do. Don't worry, we do.
Yeah, there's gonna be fun bits, but there's also gonna be like, because it's just like my thing, I suppose. With like, with loads of anime and stuff, they might say it's an adult. It's kind of more focused on adult themes, for example, but then it just kind of devolves into just like a gore fest, for example.
Yeah.
And they
Corpse
kind of
Party.
Hmm?
Have you seen Corpse Party?
I have not yet.
It's basically torture porn.
Yeah. So it's like, for some people that might feel adult, but I feel like the people who say that are like 12-year-olds who think they're watching something adult. Look at all the blood and violence, but really, are you telling a deep, interesting, introspective story about it? Or are you just kind of going, here's like blood and gore, enjoy.
And here's like a theme that sounds very adultish, like Psycho-Pass.
Yeah.
Like Psycho-Pass could have been amazing.
Loads of people think it's really good. My personal opinion is that whilst it definitely touched on some interesting themes about like security and such, it kind of didn't go as far as it could have. Yeah, I thought it could have gone more. And then in the second season just went batshit crazy. And yeah, season 2 was a catastrophe. It was an abomination in its entirety.
Second season doesn't exist in my world.
It is...
Especially that ending.
It is horrible. Watch it as a study of kind of what not to do. There's plenty of videos on YouTube, I'm sure, like analyzing it, for example, but it was really bad.
No, and like the way, in my experience, what I've noticed is that second seasons often tend to be better than the first.
Okay.
But in this case, it turned out way worse than the first. Like Noragami, I thought the second season was stronger than the first. Higurashi's actually a funny one.
Higurashi's a little weird.
Higurashi's a little weird because the first season was all like, holy shit, what's going on? I don't know. Give me answers. And then second season was like, slowly bring out all the answers. So you can't really watch one and not the other. You need to watch them both and in the correct order as well.
With Noragami, I thought it was a little boring. I didn't enjoy that much. It was because the main character was so omnipotent. Everything which involved him and his like conflicts, like physical conflicts, he just like slays enemies within seconds, and then later on is captured or something. And it's just like, well, I mean, you didn't really need to get captured there.
And the thing is, I don't think they really focused on his main conflict that much. Well, they did near the end. His main conflict...
Oh, and there was that huge contrivance with his name.
Oh, that. Leaving that aside for now. Like, what I wanted to talk about was his main conflict is that because he isn't a real god... and he doesn't have his own shrine, he might disappear one day. That's his big conflict.
Did he ever get close to disappearing, though? I don't think so.
I think he did kind of, sort of, like, near the beginning. No, there was, like, a small bit. There was. In the second season, there was. And this is why, like, you know that... This is why this scene is, like, one of my favourite scenes in the show, where what's her name? The main girl.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There's only one of them. So.
There's only one of them, yeah. The main girl, when she gifts him that mini shrine, and he just stares at it and he has tears in his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
That scene, I thought, was beautiful, because it really brought out that this is his main thing. Like, he just wants to be remembered and revered and not disappear. But then it just kind of got removed from the scene. And I'm like, but that's his main conflict.
Yeah, it became less about him, and then they just introduced
it became more about
a big baddie that they needed to beat.
Yeah, it became god politics, which is just like, what? Why?
Yeah. Anyway, back on track.
Yeah, who are we talking about again? Themes, right? That's what
Themes.
Themes.
Yeah. So
redemption and secrecy, and isn't it more like, this is a big theme, which is ignorance bliss and are white lies okay?
Mm-hmm. That's one of the big questions we're gonna not tackle, but we're gonna
tackle. No.
We're not gonna tackle because there's no real answer to it. It's all situational.
Yeah.
But for our story, is definitely there's gonna be a definite part of that in there.
It's more like a quandary posed to the reader.
Yeah. So
we're not going to try and answer it. It's just something we're going to offer up to you to make your own decisions, really.
Yeah, in the manga at least, not everything's going to be like super obvious because whilst it is a visual medium, and with like comics and manga, typically you have to make things very obvious, very clear, at least in terms of the dialogue. Some people are going to be lying. Some people are going to be telling little lies.
Or pretty big lies.
And whilst in that exact scene, you might not be able to go, wait a minute, that's a lie. You'll definitely find out very soon that, yeah, you won't be lost for long, but you'll need to think a little bit about...
Yeah, there has to be some retrospective connections.
Yeah. So that's definitely something we're going to need to, like, expertly weave in. And that'll be something we're going to discuss with our artist when we eventually hire one. Yeah. That's a whole new barrel of hurdles and issues to go through.
So speaking of, like, making things really obvious through dialogue and stuff, can I pose an example of it done really badly?
Oh, of course. Always.
So I forget how long ago this was. I think this might have been the last season or the season before it. There was an anime called Big Order.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I showed it to you.
Probably.
And good lord, the dialogue.
Oh yeah. Well, what's an example? Give an example.
So there's a scene where the main guy is hiding behind the tree somewhere, and he just got attacked or something like that. And he calls his sister, and they have like a really normal chat. And so after he hangs up, he closes the phone and kind of holds the phone close to him. They could have just left it at that, and it would have made
shows like endearing / care /
yeah. So and like because he's hiding from like people trying to look for him, kill him, or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
He's clearly worried.
So he's stressed. He's in a situation where he's in danger, and he was using his sister's voice to just sort of calm himself down. Feel a bit more secure. But he closes the phone and he goes, her voice made me calm down.
Who says that?
Her voice made me calm down.
Who says that in reality? It just breaks the immersion. It just makes you go, I saw it. I get it. I can tell from your voice that you are calmer now.
And the thing is that I'm mentioning just that one scene because that's the one scene I remember, but it was like that for the entire episode. The entire episode. Okay, like near the end where he... I don't know if it was near the end or the middle or whatever, but the main girl who shows up as a villain at first. Yeah. So when she sees him and she's about to kill him or whatever, she's like pinned him down. She's there. She's ready with her knife, and she then sits back and goes, "You'd killed my parents during your whatever thing, and I am here to get my revenge." Like, okay, thank you for the backstory, I suppose.
Oh dear.
Oh, by the way, this Big Order was by the same creator as Mirai Nikki. And the two lead characters look exactly the same as the leads from Mirai Nikki as well. So, yehey wahey.
So yeah, that's one of the fundamental kind of lessons you learn when kind of studying how to write dialogue and characters is that, well, just in general, is the importance of showing, not telling, and having a character kind of act a certain way, say like the closing of the phone and hold it tight to his chest. That's showing. You've shown the audience through physical actions that, oh, I get it. He's calmer now. You could have probably heard from his voice on the phone that he sounded calmer. But then, and everyone gets it. But then if you then say, oh, I feel calmer now after hearing her voice, it just feels like it's just not needed dialogue for him to say to himself. And it just goes like, audience, did you get that? Did you get that? This is an emotional bit.
I don't think there's anything wrong with showing something and then reinforcing it with dialogue later on, as long as you're not like big order about it. So for example, let's say he just holds the phone to his chest, right? And then maybe he just goes like a big sigh. It's reinforcing it, but it's
not telling. That's like a sigh. He sighs to himself. That's still showing, I believe. It's not. He doesn't say anything. Saying in words is like very obviously, and especially because he says it to himself in a situation where he's trying not to get discovered.
Yeah.
He's talking to the audience.
Okay, how about in this situation? Like, let's say there's two people in like a room, and it's like a sporting event, and it's this guy's turn to go out or whatever. Okay. So he talks to somebody on the phone, has that moment of okay, and then somebody else goes to him, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I feel better after that."
After that, he still doesn't. He could just say, "I'm fine." Because if you're trying to create a real human character, humans always lie about how they really feel in real life. Say if you go to school or, go to work, and people kind of ask you, how are you doing? How was your weekend?
I'm fine.
Typically people go, yeah, it was alright, I'm fine, I'm good. Or, if something really bad happened to you, you could be like, oh, it wasn't so great. And then you kind of develop your story a little bit, but you never go on the true details, the true emotional strife that you actually went through. Those are true human emotions if you write that out. But it's also like you have to make characters a little bit larger than life in stories.
Yeah.
So him saying, "Yeah, I feel a bit better," and then, yeah, that's okay. And then
so that's reinforcing what was already shown.
Yeah, but it's not him talking to the audience.
It is him going, "I feel better after hearing her voice."
Yeah, it's like the difference between having a dialogue which shows the audience something rather than telling the audience like, I feel better now. It's that's kind of the point that it's like key.
And speaking of like showing or not telling, another thing that's actually quite common in anime as well. For example, somebody will tell you that someone's personality is like X or like Y, and then they'll go do not that.
Okay.
When they'll go do something else. So, breaking the character's rules, basically.
Okay.
So,
what would be an example of that?
Batman in Batman vs. Superman. Okay. We know for a fact that it's stated multiple times, Batman is not going to kill. He doesn't kill.
Okay, well, in most of the movies, but in Batman vs. Superman, it was different.
In that movie, he goes and kills a bunch of people.
I think that's just like an established thing with Batman, and what the movie wanted to do was kind of shake it up a little bit.
Did the movie actually... What, really?
Yeah, because, with the Dark Knight series, he doesn't kill anyone.
Yeah.
But it was Batman vs. Superman specifically, where he goes on a shooting rampage and kills a bunch of people. But, I don't know. I think that's just because they're trying to shake up the character a bit. They're trying to do something new with the property, rather than go on kind of the old version. They made it more gritty, so he kills people now.
Okay. Then why doesn't he kill the Joker? Anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on from this one. I can't think of any anime examples right now.
One point I would say contradictory to that is with one of the movies we watched recently, A Silent Voice.
Yes.
There was a moment where a character talks to another character and it's clearly visually shown that she's embarrassed about talking to this person.
Yes.
She's like blushing. Her voice is shaky, and the words she actually uses all show very clearly.
And she walks off in a huff as well.
And she walks off in a huff, and then as the main character stands there, another character goes up to him and is like, I think he asked like, what was her problem? And then the other character goes, oh, she's embarrassed. And I cringed so hard when that happened, because it's like, you've given, you've shown it in so many ways, and we know that she's embarrassed, and you're explaining it. Why you're explaining it, we get it. You're just doing this for the benefit of, it's so
treating the audience like 4-year-olds, basically.
Yeah, that's a big issue in anime, is the kind of prevalence of
very on the nose dialogue.
And
a lot of tell not sure.
Yeah,
a lot of
it's like, I'm feeling sad, or you have angered me. I'm angry now. I am going to kill you. Instead of something.
Oh, actually, I can point out these examples in like the next bit, because are we going to talk about the new season animes I've been trying to catch up with?
Yes. Yeah. Shall we move on to our next segment then? I think we've kind of danced around
the
spoilers and stuff regarding our Flare project for now.
Well, let's just leave you with the question: what do you want to know? What do you think? What level of detail do you think is appropriate? Please do let us know.
Even just like tweet it at us, Facebook us, chuck it on our WordPress.
Leave it as a reply on our manga readers.
Yep, or just leave it as a comment below.
Yeah.
And,
we check them all.
We check them all.
We check them all.
And we'll definitely take your comments into account for future podcasts. Anyway, should we take a little bit of a break?
Yeah.
Or should we do another segment before we take our break?
No, I'd say let's take a break and then move on to yay anime season.
Cool.
Because I am excited.
Great. So we'll leave you guys for a minute or two, and then we'll get back to this podcast. See you in a bit. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back from the commercial break. Unfortunately, from here on out, our recording's a bit icky sounding because Audacity, which we're using to record, crashed. And then when we reopened it, it defaulted back to my laptop's microphone. So it's going to sound a bit poopy. I've, after this, reinstalled Audacity, so hopefully that never happens again. But for now, you have our sincerest apologies. Anyway, if you don't want to listen on from here on out, that's fine. Just catch up with us next week, and we'll do a little bit of a recap. But overall, we're not going to be talking about too much regarding Flare Project. It's just some kind of anime episodes first impressions. We do talk a little about the kind of future of Flare Project, but we can go over it again next week. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and see you next week. Hey guys, we have returned from our commercial break. Not really commercials, we don't have any commercials yet, but we're back. And continuing on from our last part, we were about to go on to
talking about the new season anime that just started.
Which none of which I've seen, but I've been busy. But SWRU-chan here has, so she'll be taking the lead for this segment. Go for it.
But I'll try, because I haven't seen all of them that have started, and a few I kind of just dropped after reading the synopses.
Okay, let's warm up then. Let's go with some of the ones you dropped from the synopses. So Yeah, do you even remember the names? We got the list here.
I've got the list. Let's just go down the list and I'll talk about it as we go.
Sure.
Okay, so right at the top of the list is Shingeki no Kyojin, second season.
I haven't seen the first season. I've read a load of the manga until where it gets to spoiler. Where it gets to like the main arc is finished, they find out the real details about where the Taimu come from, and it gets a little funky and if you know what I mean, there's some monkey business which goes on. And I just dropped it because it got a little bit too wacky and weird. Spoilers over. Yeah, so SWRU-chan.
So I watched the first 2 episodes. They're still fairly entertaining. I do still hate the use of really long recaps in the beginning of the episode. And like it just makes it really obvious that they're trying to pad out the time.
Really?
Which is like, do you really need to pad up the time right now? I mean, there's quite a lot of material on the manga now. But I don't know. The studio wit knows what they're doing, I suppose. But yeah, I still hate that. The pacing still has issues, but I'm fairly entertained, so I'm sticking with it.
I hear more people die.
More people die.
Is that a spoiler? Probably not.
Probably not.
I think there's enough death in the series.
More death, more gore. Well, the thing is that they want to make it gory because the manga's gory, but then they also need to try and keep it PG. So what happens is that they'll show somebody's head being ripped off, but the screen will go black and red, so it's not.
It's in black.
Yeah, so it's like you just see some kind of black shape just being ripped off. You don't actually see a head.
Right, because a lot of kids they'll just what happens? They just won't get it.
They just won't get it.
It's not like they have brain cells and insinuate that something bad happened.
But the show I am more entertained by is Boku no Hero Academia. Second season is running.
Yeah, I like it. It's fine.
Quite a big point on the like that, but yeah, I like it. It's great. I am starting to get a bit annoyed with Gloss's dude though.
Oh, what's his name?
Oh god, I'm so bad at names.
It's Yukio. His name is Yukio, and he has a brother who's a demon, right?
Wrong anime.
No. He's Yukio. What's his name? What's his name?
Yukio.
Okumura. And his brother's Okumura too.
Yes.
And then there's Shiemi as well.
Yes, calm down. Right, so the reason I am annoyed is because first season he's shown to be, this stickler for rules and he's very by the book and stuff like that. But then this season, they just made him wacky. He's always doing this weird thing with his hands, and I'm like, you didn't do that in the first season. Why are they just playing that up now?
Yeah, they have him doing the robot arms, really quickly all of the time.
And it's just really annoying. I'm like, you're ruining the essence of the character for comedy's sake, and it's not funny.
Yeah.
Well, at least I don't find it funny.
Yeah, he's a walking joke.
Anyway. Rokude Nashi no Jutsu Koshi no Akashic Records. So this is, I believe, a magic fantasy.
Magical academy to hone her skills in the magical arts, hoping to solve the mystery of the enigmatic Sky Castle.
Nah, leave it at that. I couldn't get past the first 6 minutes of this show.
What happened?
Well, this is a school we're talking about, and their school uniforms are crop tops with mini skirts and stockings and garter belts. And the garter belts even have this bit which go from the skirt up to their crop top, so it looks like they're wearing these high-rise underwear that's invisible.
My word.
And then they have a cape over the crop top as well.
They'll hide the sexy costumes. Oh my word.
No, but the cape only comes down to their crop top level, so their stomachs are
good. So you don't miss out on that, the delicious stomach.
Back as well. So, I've in the past I enjoyed harems. I was like when I was young, but I don't enjoy ecchi and harem shows anymore, so I dropped it.
Yeah.
Got rid of that one. Then Ginga Guardian, I think so this one I also couldn't get past the first few minutes. I've become very ruthless with my anime choices these days because I have very little time to actually watch them. So if there's even the slightest bit of thing that's going to annoy me, I drop it straight away.
It has to be a game breaker though. You still give shows a pretty decent chance.
Yeah, give it a chance.
I'm like cutthroat. Like I will cut its throat and bleed it out and throw it in a dumpster behind the school.
No, I'll still give it the benefit of the doubt until I get to like a game breaker kind of thing.
Yeah.
So with this one, the game breaker was just how bad the dialogue was. It was like big order tier.
Yeah. Do you remember any examples from it?
I genuinely don't.
Oh, good. Write it from memory.
I was watching it and I hear the wording and I'm just like, yep, nope, goodbye.
Okay.
So the one after that is Biso Shoujo Machiavellian. See, I pronounce the Japanese words fine, but if we get to the English one, I'm like, hey?
You make a great announcer. Coming up next, Biso Shoujo Machiavellianism.
Machiavellianism.
Yeah.
Right, so this one I didn't try watching because it had ecchi harem on the genre list. So I was like, nah.
The private IHE Symbiosis Academy in high school girls became co-ed. Oh, I've heard this before.
Yes. Oh, right, it's the one where the guy is like forced to dress up as a girl because that's what this group does to discipline the boys.
Wow.
And
I mean, not.
This is 2017, fugly CGI, no.
There's plenty of people who already made their opinions clear on the CGI.
Yes.
And have plenty of analysis on why it's ugly.
Yes.
So we won't really go into that too much.
Yes. I've read the manga though, and it's okay. I like it. But I don't know. I think I have quite a few issues with it, but I can't remember what they were right now.
Oh, the girl. I had a main issue with the girl.
Did you read it?
No,
you read a few chapters.
We talked about it. Like the girl is like, and her like hellspawn, and how she still stays with Guts, even though, and on an animalistic level, she would want to run away with him.
Well, she does try to run away all the time.
Except for when he doesn't.
Except for when she doesn't. She tries to run away all the time, except for when she doesn't. Right. Clockwork Planet, again, it had harem ecchi on the genre, so I haven't tried it, but I might try it just because I like to give the shows, a fair chance. So I probably will watch the first episode at some point and see if I like it or not. Renai Boku, that one, just from the picture I can tell exactly what's going to happen in this. Also, a kiss note is a powerful notebook that makes anyone who has their name written together will instantly fall in love if they kiss each other regardless of any circumstances.
Yeah, I saw this on, was it Kotaku or was it Sankaku Complex? But it's meant to be a riff on notes, obviously, because it's a kiss note.
Yes.
But, oh my god, that sounds really bad. Like, kind of rapey almost.
Moving on. Oh, this one. This one. Oshitsukyoshi Heine. This one is a BL harem. Those exist now.
Great.
My first thoughts, literally, within the first, I think, 3 minutes was, which one's the edgelord? Can you tell from their silhouette? Which one's the Genki one? Can you tell?
Yeah, you linked it to me, and I watched it for about 5 minutes. And there was this part in it. Spoilers, I guess. It's the intro episode 1, so not really. The guy, he's meant to be a renowned tutor, I think.
I don't think he's renowned because the king knows him, but he's not like famous.
Okay. Well, he's been hired. He steps off. Well, he's in the carriage. It's the setting's like very royal. And the guards. And the two guards who are there are like, oh my god, it's the carriage of the tutor coming for to teach the guys, I assume. And then out of the carriage steps out this like the camera work makes it seem like he's normal height or tall, but when he actually approaches the guards, the revelation comedic moment is that he is not tall. He is. Sorry,
Short.
I just dropped a rubber band.
Looks like a kid.
He's actually short and looks like a child. And the guards, after saying out loud, "Oh, it's the carriage of the tutor," then go, "Oh, hi, little boy. Are you lost? There's no way you could be the tutor. Oh, you must be the king's son." And as
The tutor's son.
the tutor's son, and as the guy tries to explain, he's like halfway through the sentence and is supposedly cut off by one of the guards. And so the execution of the dialogue line was like a clip, like a second after the first voice actor stopped saying his lines.
Oh,
So it sounded like.
that.
So it sounded to me. It was like, actually, I am the. Oh, you must be the tutor's son. It was like he was waiting for the line delivery.
Yeah. That comes down to the voice actors.
It comes down to the voice actors or the editing.
Yes.
So, and then I saw the joke coming. I was like, if this is the caliber of jokes coming, I'm not really gonna give it a chance. Plus, just as the thing, I'm not into like BL or harems anymore at all. So
No, I know exactly what's going to happen. I know the order of like how he's going to break down each prince, and I know what it's going to happen. But I know I'm going to have fun watching this anyway.
Oh, I think you dropped it.
Yeah, did I?
Yeah, you said you dropped it.
No, I didn't. I watched the entire thing.
Oh, did you?
I think I just didn't watch the like right at the end of it. So I was like, yeah, fine. I'll just, as I'm having dinner or something, just have this play on the background.
Okay. Sure.
Or I don't know. It depends on. So my sort of, if I decide to give a show a chance, even though I know it's not going to be amazing, is do I get bored as I watch it? If I get bored, then I drop it. Or if I see a new episode come up and it feels like a chore to have to watch it, then I know it's time to drop it.
Okay.
But if I'm like, oh, new episode, and they put it up and I'm entertained as I watch it, whatever.
Was it entertaining? I really disliked it.
I will find out after
It
episode
was like not funny.
2. I will find out after episode 2 and 3 and let you know.
Next.
Alice the SWRU. Right. Now, reading the synopsis for this, I was like, oh, this is going to be Warm Fuzzies show, and I think it is going to be Warm Fuzzies show.
Give me a second, I'm just spotting. The story centers on the girl, blah blah blah, that holds the power of Alice's dream. They clear her cool tail.
Alice in Wonderland, yeah, they do make a callback in the anime.
Which is just shorthand for we're creatively stumped. So let's just go with Alice in Wonderland. It's not imaginative. An ability which enables her to materialize anything she imagines. Well, that doesn't seem overpowered at all.
See, this is a point I'll mention in a bit. Let me just do the intro bit. So, yeah, it is going to be Warm Fuzzies show because it's this girl. She's lived her entire life in a research facility, and she ends up living with this old man. And it's basically just sort of him teaching her how to live with human society, basically. And it's going to be Warm Fuzzies, and I like my Warm Fuzzies. Now, my main issue with this show is they haven't defined their powers.
Mm-hmm.
They have sort of defined their powers where she says that we can create what we imagine. It comes to life.
Okay.
Yeah. So they've shown multiple characters do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all fine. And they've also sort of given it a limit in the sense that it uses a lot of energy, so they need to eat a lot to keep up their energy.
Calories.
Yeah, calories. So that's all good. But then, she's also able to read his mind. She's also able to bring up random information regarding him just by looking into his mind.
Okay.
She also made things disappear. She also drove a car somehow using this magic. But
Okay.
all of this isn't her imagining something and that coming to life.
No, it's not.
The,
Yeah. Okay.
where are the rules? What are the rules? You're not. Maybe there will be more information in the future episodes, but I feel like I'm giving it too much of the benefit of the doubt.
She sounds like the most overpowered superhero known to man. She's like the Green Lantern because the Green Lantern can materialize things using his like ring powers, I believe.
Yes.
Like anything in his imagination, which in movies is equivalent to like military standard tanks and guns,
Apparently.
because they have no imaginations apparently. So she can materialize anything, and she also has a whole suite
Oh,
of.
she
of
can
powers.
also shumpo, basically.
Right.
she jump. They call it a jump, where she disappears from where she is and appears somewhere else.
Right.
But it's like that's again not the power you defined earlier.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah. I don't know what to think of it, really. Doesn't sound too good.
Yeah,
No.
unless because the thing is that they call her the Red Queen. Now it could be that she is
What
some.
about, like, the Queen of Hearts? Because it's freaking, they're trying to sit like Alice in Wonderland into this, so she's the Queen of Hearts, probably.
I don't know. But point is, they call her the Red Queen. So it could be that all of these extra things are unique to her, not the other cards or characters or whatever.
Yeah,
But
okay.
yeah, I just don't know. And
Sure.
it's a bit frustrating, it's a bit confusing, but what I hope for are answers.
Cool. Yes.
Sekai Surukado. Now this one shows promise to me as well.
Okay.
This one shows promise. It does use a bit of 3D CGI and
Isn't
stuff,
it?
but
It's all 3D.
was it all no?
It was all 3D. I skipped. I like watched.
Oh no,
bits
episode
of it.
0. Episode 0. It didn't use any 3D until near the end, which is the bit that you see in episode 1 as well. And episode 1 was all 3D.
It was all 3D.
But it wasn't ugly. I didn't dislike it. It was at points it was really obvious and it went into the uncanny valley region. But majority of the time I was like, okay, I can deal with this. I don't hate this like I did in Berserk.
I have to disagree because I mean, like, anime studios are working on a tight budget, obviously, which is why they're using 3D rendering software. But there are like MMD and like free content creators whose 3D models are so much nicer, like so much prettier, and look like that. And there's a studio which makes like etchy material, and they make very good 3D models. So I can't entirely forgive them for using. It's like the shadows and stuff. It just makes it look quite obvious, but it's not the worst.
Yeah,
actually,
it's definitely not the worst.
Yeah.
It doesn't look ugly in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so far the dialogue hasn't been terrible. It's very normal. Really? I genuinely thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was bad.
The lady, the scientist lady,
Oh, right.
is an
No.
abomination.
No.
She's
That
horrific.
entire character needs to be written out of this show.
Yeah.
But-
She's horrible.
I'm talking about the rest of it overall. My overall impressions was that the dialogue wasn't terrible, and you know what? It seemed pretty realistic in like the way they were like tackling the situation. Like when the thing shows up and the
Spoilers, obviously.
Oh yeah, spoilers. The reporters show up. They're trying to like get close to it, trying to get like immediate response team, and then there's like a cabinet meeting where they're discussing immediate actions, long-term actions. What are your priorities? And they're actually reacting in a way that a country would in a crisis. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It's showing promise so far.
Thing is, I would also need to argue that some of their actions were not realistic, in the sense that if you have like first aid in contact, it's basically a first aid in contact. There's a huge cube which may destroy the world, may not.
They don't.
They don't know. We don't know. But they then decide to not immediately. They first try to take a sample of it, which probably shouldn't do. Probably should try to establish contact first. Like,
They don't know if there's any living sentient being inside it. They just
Yeah.
know it's a thing and it's
No.
just sitting there.
yeah, but if say a huge spaceship came down, would you first try to scrape off a piece of the material? Because that could be incredibly offensive, or an act of war even. Like you're trying to steal our technology. You would try to use speakers to blare out messages saying please come out and talk.
Yeah, but they don't know if there's anything in there. It just looks like a
No,
thing.
but you assume the worst. You assume there are people in there. You assume there are aliens. In our real world first response, you don't immediately go, I wonder what that material is, let's just grab a chunk of it. They would watch it for probably
I think they mentioned
weeks.
something like that though, where they tried to, where they mentioned that we tried to get up close to it and see if there's any response or whatever.
But you wouldn't try to go up close to it. That's the thing. You would form a big perimeter around it, section it off to all the public,
I think that was done as well.
and then for 1 or 2 weeks, just sit and watch.
1 or 2 weeks. No, because they need that immediate response because they knew that the airplane was stuck underneath the things and
And there was airplane stuck.
yeah, there were people who got stuck with the thing, and they were like, we need to try and save those people if they're still alive.
I didn't watch the entire episode. What?
Yes.
The cube lands on an airplane.
Yes.
Right. And they go. And the cube, from what I saw,
No.
was literally ground level.
No,
It had
it was-
crushed the plane,
It
correct?
didn't crush the plane. It was actually a few meters above it. The plane was half submerged into the cube. You need to watch the episode to get this.
Okay.
This is way too many spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoiler over. Moving on. Just watch the episode.
Anyway, the female scientist character,
Yeah, she needs to be written out.
she's terrible, and she makes every other character around her terrible as well.
Everybody else is,
all her discussions are a joke, effectively.
yeah. They I
And it
realized.
makes the military, serious military people,
Mm,
have to play off the joke.
yeah.
For example, she goes,
Can I break this? And he's
Yeah.
like, no, this one's.
and then the guy's like, no, this is expensive. Instead of being like, can we get this 4-year-old out of here who wants to break our expensive military hardware and possibly offend the giant alien cube thing that might destroy the world? Someone get this girl out of here.
I'm just. Yeah.
And then she sees a new robot, the drone thing, and she's like, can I break this one? And no one literally just tases her and takes her the fuck away from the whole situation.
She's the one genius protege in the whole of Japan, so which is why she needs to be
Is she-
there.
is
We
she
need
the
to
only
cater to her.
scientist?
We need to cater to her demands in this case.
I mean,
Anyway,
yeah.
recreators. I will give it one more episode before I decide, but
Humans have created many stories: joy, sadness, anger, deep emotion.
you know that
Oh
drama.
god, it's making me cringe already.
You know that drama I told you about where a manga character becomes sentient?
Yes.
It's basically that.
Oh,
But
did I watch 1 minute of this and cringe so hard? It was
no.
the guy in his room, and then there's a girl who comes to real life, and he's like, "Look, you're in the manga book.
Oh,
I know your story.
Yes.
Your
that
your
one.
story is so cool."
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
not good.
No. Yeah. Anyway, Sekai no Yamizukan, that's basically Yamishibai. But I'm not going to be watching it because it's shorts and they're horrors, but they're not really that scary. They're kind of just weird.
Okay.
Saikana season 2, I didn't watch first season, so I'm not watching that. Sabarada Reset, this one. So earlier I was mentioning about showing and not telling and stuff.
Yeah.
This show does tell, not show, a lot.
Oh no.
A lot.
Mhm.
So, I'll give you an example.
Okay, so the summary is nearly half the population of this place, a small town, with some sort of unique power. Range from being able to
Enter the mind of a cat.
Let's just click on it. Yeah, there we go.
Resetting the world back to a certain point in time in the past. Holy crap! That sounds overpowered. The controls and monitors the use of these powers. There's a club involved
Hangi Kyoku.
which execute any missions. Reset the world for 3 days. Okay, that sounds incredibly overpowered indeed.
No, she's got limits on it.
Does she?
They mentioned the limits in the episode.
What are the limits? Does she die?
Oh no, she doesn't die. So she clears out everybody's memories as well. But she can only go back 3 days in time. After she set it back once, she can't set it back again until 24 hours after her last setback. Sorry, reset. There's also something about 72 hours in there, and how she can create save points. And also when she resets, she also resets her own memories, so she doesn't remember that she reset the time.
Pretty sure it just said here.
That's in the synopsis, but they go into detail in the actual episode.
Okay, sure.
Anyway, leaving that aside, I don't know what the overall plot of this is going to be, but the example I had was that main guy, his personality apparently is that he holds justice as very important in his mind, and that he's very righteous.
Righteous.
Now, that is not shown to us in his actions at all.
Okay.
It's literally a comment made like 3 times by 2 different characters. Like, there's one example where the main guy's friend asks him that, oh, if you remembered the lottery tickets for that time and then you went back and won it, would you do it? And he says no. And so then his friend says, oh yeah, of course you wouldn't, you're way too righteous for that.
Right.
And then a different character just basically hammers that home twice more, but he hasn't acted in a righteous way.
Righteous.
What am I saying?
Righteous.
Is that wrong? Sounds fine.
Let's go with righteous. Righteous.
Fine.
Or justice oriented.
Whatever.
So has he shown anything to the contrary? Has he been bad?
No, he hasn't shown anything to the contrary. But
They're just saying he's a good dude.
He's a good dude. He believes this. He believes that. He believes in his righteousness so much that he wouldn't even find himself righteous. And it's just like, okay. And then the other girl, the main girl, her personality gets explained to us by the main guy as well. We don't see it.
I mean, they could have literally just shown him, like, an imagination of him, like, doing the lottery thing, and he could just say, like, that doesn't feel right. I don't, that feels wrong in my head. So, no, I wouldn't do that.
As I said, so this show does a lot of tell, not show.
Right.
Which then, I am not watching Shingeki no Bahamut because I didn't watch the first season. Same with Monster Strike. Now, next one, Skiga Kirei. Exact opposite of Sagaraga Reset in terms of show and tell. This show, I think, is doing the show not tell thing quite well. So, manga. Oh wait, let's do the synopsis. It is Kotaro, Azumi, and Akane Mizuno become third-year students at junior high school.
Classmates, relate to peers, mutual understanding feelings. So it's slice of life, overcome, become mature.
It's romance. It's a coming-of-age story, which I quite like. I like slice of lives with romance undertones and, just coming-of-age stories if they're done well. So for the main girl, her name's, I forget what her name is, Akane? Yeah. So she is really shy and she gets nervous. And what they show at the beginning of the episode is that she has this pink squishy thing that she likes to press to until
Stressful, basically.
till she to get rid of her nerves, and then she goes and does things. And not once did it go. Did she say, "Oh, I'm so nervous. I need to do this." She'll say something like, "Oh, I'm nervous," or like there was a point where she says, "I wish I had that on me." But she's never like, "Oh, I'm nervous. I need to do this," and then she starts doing it. It's just like she's about. There's a scene which I thought was really nice. Was the main guy is doing something and she wants to go help him, but she's really nervous to actually approach him. So they show her just kind of standing there behind him as she slowly approaches, and then she's like pressing the stress ball, and like she's pressing it harder and harder until she stops, and then she calls out to him. It's like, she's calming her nerves down, getting herself together, and then she does it. They've shown us what she's feeling, what she's intending to do, what she wants to do, and then she does it. And I think it was fairly consistent. I can't remember an example of when they broke it, but they could have. I just don't remember it. But pretty consistent. It's pretty good. I liked it. A tad on the slow side though, but school life romance tend to be.
Okay. Sure.
What's next? Brain Arms Girls, haven't watched that.
I saw an article on it on Captain Complex, I believe, and quite a lot of fan service, but the actress seems looks okay. Not interesting enough to watch it for me. So.
SWRUManga, I haven't watched that yet. Kwanzi Gao Show.
Is that Chinese?
It is. So a lot of Chinese production companies are working in conjunction with Japanese ones to release anime. So our Chinese.
But even the naming is Chinese?
Yeah, the language was Chinese as well, I think, when I was watching the episode. Yeah, it's a online gaming dude.
Okay.
And yeah, I
wasn't.
esports. Yes. I wasn't really pulled into it, so probably not going to be watching that.
Sure.
Sakura Quest is going to be a slice of life about this girl who thinks the countryside is boring, and this countryside village wants to try and increase their tourism, and just her.
So, I saw a little bit of this, and one of the kind of ending images it had during episode 1 was, there's this thing in media or like movies where you show like objects, and you kind of relate that in a way which makes the audience not like, they can't immediately understand why it's being shown, but later on it kind of ties it in together. In this one it does do that, but it does it in quite an obvious way, at least in a way which I saw immediately. Spoilers, it ends with a scene where she is sat atop a throne, and then she is clad in a king's red robe, and then she is crowned, I believe?
Yeah, she has a crown as well.
Yeah, which it's very clear that throughout the entire episode there's this undercurrent of her wanting control, her wanting control of her life. She doesn't want to go into like the adult world. She wants to like almost rule her own life. And I feel like by showing that scene at the end, it almost spoils the entire character growth, or at least the entire plot almost, because it immediately shows to me that this is a story that's going to be about how she wrestles with the lack of control of her becoming an adult, needing to find a job, etc. Because they made the point of her trying to find a job, which is one of the things which is most definitive of an adult in society norms, is someone having a job. So it shows her trying to get a job interviews, I believe, and then it ends with her sitting on a throne. It's a little obvious.
I don't know. I'd have to disagree with you there, because I don't think it's such a bad thing to highlight that this is what the story is going to be about. That this is what end goal is. Now we're going to show you the journey there, because the point of the show could be the journey itself, not the actual goal, which they've already spoiled.
Sure, but I would say it kind of ruins the ending. I mean, sure, you can still enjoy the ride, of course, but there's just like no, all the conflicts are like, well, she's gonna win in the end. It's like for people who enjoy, say, like fairy tales, it's like, oh, fairy tale, if you can go along with the ride, then that's fine. But if to you the actual like suspense of maybe they'll die, or maybe they won't achieve their goal, and that's what keeps you ticking. If you already know it's gonna be a happily ever after, or if you already know, her emotional journey is she's gonna wrestle with control in her life. It's like, well, it's kind of like, I get it. We all went through that. I don't really feel like watching it, rather than kind of organically finding out, oh, what's the story really about? Oh, it's about that. Oh, well, I'm invested enough now to see the end of it.
Yeah, I think this one kind of just comes down to what kind of
How you enjoy stories.
Yeah, what you're into. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was quite like, because they did it with Shrek as well. If you remember Shrek,
I don't.
it
I really don't.
It was where he was. It was, I believe, in the beginning of the movie. Michael Hagel always uses this point where he's telling everyone to go away, and he doesn't want people to come into his swamp. But then they like dance around him, I believe, and then put a cape around him, a red king's cape, and then a king's crown on him, making him like, you are the hero of this story, pointing that out. And that kind of makes sense in a cartoon, but actually in like a slice of life thing, which is like based on reality, having her just sit on top of a throne, and then her having the dialogue of, oh no, I didn't meant to sit on here, I don't even know I'm sat on top of the throne. That just made me go, wow. I mean, you're really pointing this out, obviously, to the audience. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Right, next one, Hinaka Note. Right, so this is gonna be.
Wait a second, do I see semi-naked girls in Santa cosplay?
2 girls.
Is that Santa cosplay?
That's
Santa cosplay. They're showing their midriff and thigh highs and such.
Yeah. They might look like kids, but they're in high school, so they're legal, I suppose.
Yeah, okay. It looks like a fan service show.
I watched the first episode. It's not a fan service show yet, anyway. It's a Moe Blob show.
Okay, because they're dressed very provocatively.
In that picture, yes.
In literally that headline picture.
In the headline picture, yes. Now, Moe Blob shows for me are very hit and miss, because there have been several that I've watched and enjoyed. So like Gochu no wa Usagi desu ka, Non non Ryori, Kinyuru Mosaic. I really liked those. But then there are quite a few that I didn't like and just dropped, the names of which I can't remember right now.
Like, I've long past my Moe Blob phase. Like, I used to love them, but then I watched Lucky Star, and my world was shattered. I was like, oh, we can just do like cool, funny references to other shows, and she can actually have a real personality. And it's not just like cute girls doing cute things. We can actually have a discussion or conversation about stuff that's going on in the industry.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to how well they handle the comedy. If it's just like stuff that's been done before recycled, then it's just like, But if it's, done quite nicely, Kinnera Mosaic I thought was cute.
I get why, like studios do them, because like, it's
cute.
They're not very deep characters. You can just make them do like cute things, which make for good dot gifs or dot gifs, pronunciation is. And, that just raises the popularity of the show, makes them cute for people to watch. But
the whole who's best girl?
Yeah, who's best girl? And I'm kind of just past the phase. I want like some real meat on the bones to like dig into these things. Not really my shtick.
But yeah, I think Hinaka Note after the first episode, I'm kind of leaning on the side of probably not. But I don't know. I'll give it another episode.
Cool.
SWRUManga Sensei, nope. Just looked up the name and just went there.
Sibling romantic comedy, light novel author.
Oh, so it's incest as well.
Cool. Next.
But Salesman. Now, this one I think is trying to be trying to be lessons for people, I think.
Oh.
So, spoilers again. Is the so he's a salesman, and he will give you anything you want for free. But there's like,
Not a very good salesman.
but there's like a catch, of course.
Okay.
So the first sort of snippet. So you have two halves in an episode. So the first half was this guy, and he and his friend want to drink during lunch hour at work. So he like takes them to this club where all these pretty ladies are, and they fawn over them, and they drink, and then they both fork over money, blah blah blah. But he gets so caught up in it that he goes there without money. And there's this like thing about, if you want to do these things, you need to have money. I feel like I didn't make my point very well then.
Right. So, wait, that was the first half, or was that the second half?
First half.
So the first half, a guy wishes to drink during lunch break. A salesman takes him to a club,
Yeah.
but then turns out the other person does not have any money for the club.
He reels him in by paying the first time he goes, and this pretty lady in the club
Okay.
fawns over him.
Right. But so basically, they go to a club.
Mm.
The first time, the salesman pays for him. Second time, the salesman doesn't pay for him.
Yeah.
What's the point? Well, is there a point to that? What?
There was a point to it, but I can't remember the entire thing or how it played out right now. I'll forget
What
about
was
this
the
one.
second part?
The second part was a lady. The name of that particular path was, if it's not in the budget, don't go for it. So she works at a job which pays her very little, but whenever she's stressed, she goes shopping and she buys really expensive stuff. And so she says that, but by shopping like this, I relieve stress and it makes me feel good. So what the salesman does is that he gives her a credit card that lets her buy anything she wants, literally anything she wants.
Yep.
But the next day they take it all back. So she never needs to pay back the money she spends,
Yeah.
but she can't keep the stuff that she buys.
Okay.
She gets rid of it. And he warns her that we take back everything, no excuses.
Right.
There's
So
no
if,
exceptions.
so if she buys a cake and then she eats the cake, do they take back the calories?
I don't know. I don't know how they
What?
would do that, but the way this
Well, it's clearly magic.
yeah,
So-
it's clearly magic. The way this particular part finishes is that she gets like a spa day and she takes care of her skin, she gets her hair done and everything, and the next day she's lost on her youth, she's gotten fat, her hair's gone white.
Wait, that's not taking it back.
Well,
That's taking it back and then punishment.
no, she got youth in terms of better skin because her skin was bad, so she improved
No,
her
no,
skin.
she went to a spa day, so she got like the spa chemicals or like the creams, and then she got like the time invested in her,
Yeah.
what the spa actually provides. And then the next day, they don't just like revert her back to what she looked like the day before.
Yeah.
He just punishes her? What? That just seems like they're punishing a person with a real sort of psychological vice issue.
Seems
It's
like
that I need to buy things to make myself feel better, and a magic man has given me an ability to do so, and so she does so, and then he goes, well, I mean, like, sorry, material things, we just take, like, your TV back, but if you dare look younger the next day, you're gonna become older.
Oh, he told her right at the beginning that we do take back everything, so be wise about how you use this.
That's not clear at all. I assume they would just like take away the vitamins that the extra cream gave her, the extra vitamins to her skin.
Yeah, maybe.
And just
that
to go
would have
back,
made more sense.
and then she would just go back to looking, a bit tired, or she would look a bit stressed, not like
Look at what she normally does.
not like condemned to a fate of just like, well, now everyone's
Wrinkly skin.
of wrinkly skin and becoming fat, apparently.
Yeah, she seems fat as
Jesus
well.
Christ! That's harsh! I don't like this husband at all.
He's not.
Where was the first guy? Did he become.
He
Did he die?
he didn't die. I forget what happened to him.
Okay, Jesus.
Kabukibu is gonna be another slice of life, coming of age kind of thing, I think. First episode was okay. I don't know. I'll decide after one or two more.
Mm-hmm.
Kaito Tenchi Twin Angel.
I see girls in magic.
I'm kind
Magic
of
girl
over.
costumes.
I'm kind of over my Maho Shoujo days, so probably not.
Is it quite similar to that Pretty Cure, or do you reckon it's going to become that kind of thing?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I haven't watched it. Love Kome.
We love rice.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's short, and I tend not to watch shorts, so I don't know. High School Star Musical Season 2. I watched the first episode of Season 1 and left it at that.
Okay.
Oh, can you guess their personalities off this picture?
Oh, that's fair fun game. Okay. Just go open this down. It's called Starmie.
That's short. That's the short name for it. Starmie.
Sounds like a Pokemon. So there's like Staryu, Starmie,
Yeah.
and
and then-
Starmie.
Starmie.
Okay, my internet is garbage at the moment, so it's not
We'll wait
opening
for
it.
that page to load.
We'll come back to it if it ever decides to load.
Idol Master's been going on for years. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Future Card Buddy Fight. That's a merchandise selling show. Whatever. Kyoka no Rinne Season 3. I kind of dropped it halfway through Season 1 simply because I just wasn't. It just wasn't engaging me anymore. Like I'd be like halfway through a show and be like, whoa, it's only halfway done.
Oh,
Like come on, like animes are only 20 minutes long, and if just those first 10 minutes feel long, then that's probably a sign that I'm not into it anymore.
Okay.
Okay. Guess.
Okay, so
Who's Genki guy?
So it's like if you want to play along with this segment, just like Google High School Star Musical second season, and go onto Google Images. I'm sure it's that. So we're looking at a picture. There's obviously a background of cherry blossoms, as is tradition. The only way to show it's a romance show.
Not a romance. It's the only way to show it's a youth show.
It's a
It's a youth show
it's
based in
spring.
high school.
And it's in spring. Okay. There's 5 characters. There is a blondie at the front, a blue-haired guy, a purple-haired guy, a red-haired guy, and a blonde-haired guy. So a brunette, sorry. So
Light brunette,
yeah.
a massy brunette.
So a guy at the front to the left, he looks smaller than the rest. Is that correct? Is he of shorter stature?
Probably.
So is he probably like the cute chauffeur
Nice,
one, the
quiet.
cute, nice one, probably?
Yeah.
The one just behind him has like dark purple hair, so he's a bit more edgy. He's got his fringe has one spiky strand going between his eyes. He's definitely the cool type, guys. Blue-haired guy to the front and the right. Yeah, the cut of his hair looks very neat.
So he's very straight-laced.
So he must be straight-laced. Probably studious. He's probably the cleverest one of the group.
Probably the one that learns by technique.
Yeah, he's probably the nerd. Probably. Quieter, probably on the spectrum. The guy behind him is red. Fiery redhead
Yeah.
guy.
He's the calm, cool one, not the edgy cool one. He's the calm,
I don't
cool.
know, like,
Everybody looks up to him. He's the senpai character.
Really, redhead? I think redhead's like fiery spirits. Look at him.
Yeah, but
How
look at-
cheerful. He's got a big wide smile on his face.
Yeah, but look at how neat his hair is, though.
Weirdly neat hair, indeed.
So he's got to be the senpai character,
Yeah.
the one everybody looks up to and
Yeah.
runs to whenever Edgelord decides to act up.
There's a 50-50 chance. Alright. And then main brunette, like brunette at the back, he's taking center stage. He's got his hand up in the air, way above his head, in a peace symbol. And he's beaming. He's freaking happy. Yeah.
Genki
He
AF.
is The Genki one, that's for sure. I'm willing to bet on that.
Bet money on that.
I'm willing to bet money on that, and I'm not a gambler. Yeah, he looks like he would be called Aki, or like main guy, main protag, main protag-kun,
Shijinko-kun.
Shijinko-kun.
Shijinko.
Yeah, or he'd be called like Keiichi
Probably. Do you know what that probably is his
or
name? Who knows?
Shinji.
Actually, wait, let's find the first season, which is here. The first season probably says what his name is. Oh, his name is Yuta.
Yuta Hoshitano.
Hoshitani.
Hoshitani, sorry.
Hoshitani Yuta.
Yeah, cool. Alright.
Oh, guess which one is Kaito? Which one's Kaito?
Kaito has to be
It has
Edgy.
to be Edgelord.
edgy McEdgy.
We'll Google it later.
Yeah. Anyway. What's up next?
Up next was Nobunaga no Shinobi 2. I haven't seen the first episode, so I don't know. Idle Time Prepara, have you seen that? I haven't.
Are you kidding me? It's 5 prepubescent girls in wearing magic.
I haven't seen it, so I don't
Costumes.
know. Shonen Ashbe, I haven't seen that, so I don't
There's a lot
know.
of scene involved. which is
Detective
cute.
Conan, I've never, and I probably never will. It's still ongoing. It's at 800 and something episodes, this thing.
I hear it's okay, but you
But I mean, how many different murder mysteries can you come up with? It's murder every time.
know.
Murder every time.
Yeah, cool.
Folk Tales from Japan. Oh, I enjoyed it when it came out at first, but then kind of got bored.
Okay.
So I'm not watching this season. World Full News Part 2. I don't know of this thing's existence, so I don't know. I haven't been watching that.
Cool.
So that's it for the animes I've seen so far this season.
Yeah, is that it? Are there any new ones?
There might be some more new ones coming out this week. So, which we can update on next week.
Cool. So, a couple that you're gonna keep up with, couple that you already dropped.
Couple I already dropped.
Okay.
Couple I didn't even try.
Which anime do you think is gonna be the main talking point for like people in anime community generally tend to like go out of this season there was one, the best one. Which do you think is gonna be the best one? I will keep a track of this across the weeks.
Oh
Coming.
god.
What do you think is gonna be the best one? Boku no Hero already has like
A massive
a
following.
massive following and it seems to be more of the same, so
Yeah, it's
probably gonna be good.
it's probably gonna be good. People are already complaining about Shingeki no Kyojin,
Mhm.
how it's not exactly living up to their expectations. So I don't know. I feel like it might fall behind. I'm not entirely sure,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I do think
Just run your eye over the entire list.
now, because I haven't seen any of the harem ones, so unless one of the harem ones kind of come and take over, I think it's going to be Sekai Surukado.
Sekai.
That one is the one with the one where we're talking about the 3D not being super ugly.
Ah, the one with the scientist.
The one with the annoying scientist.
I hate the fact that she stars in it. She's like a main character. She was in it for about like 15 minutes of the show, I think, of the
Yeah.
episode.
But yeah, I'm basing it off of just the ones I've seen. There
Yeah.
might be some other ones that
No,
you know, steal the limelight, but we'll find out.
Cool. Alright, well, we'll keep an eye out in the following weeks. And I think that'll do it for the SWRUAnime Taimu segment. So up next, just a bit of discussion over kind of what we got on this week
Yeah, we're ready.
and following on to next week.
Yeah.
So this week we're still developing side characters. I think I generally have the personalities down, but we do need to discuss
How to bring it out.
how to bring them in to
Yeah.
the story. Kind of if they're going to be foils to any of the other characters, for example. Are they going to have any like major moments in the plot, for example? And that's all stuff we're going to need to discuss, and we'll probably make a post on manga readers regarding that.
I think one thing I think is important to point out is that whilst we have like side characters in mind, as we go along and plan, if we find that a character is just kind of there to be there and they're not really serving
Yeah.
the story in any way whatsoever, and like then they don't really need to be there, we will cut them.
They get cut.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Have we cut someone already?
We cut CG, and then we reinstated CG.
Yeah, we cut CG in her original state,
Yes.
and then rebuilt her and then put her back in.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. There are many kind of resources out there which will say the same kind of sentiment. You can't just have characters involved just for the heck of it. They need to play a role in the
They
story.
need to serve a narrative purpose.
Or they need to like bring out more of the world, for example, but they can't just exist.
Yeah.
And if they're like main side characters, if there are
Even
two of
more
them,
important for them to serve a narrative purpose
Yeah,
if they're
and
main.
if they don't serve narrative purpose, or if they don't affect the main character in a way, and you can combine two of the characters together, just shove them together, pretty much, and make it a stronger, more tight cast of characters. So that's why it's not just about writing, it's about the editing and the polishing process as well. Even going to the extent of like shelving it for like a week, sleeping on it, and then revisiting it, you might think, dear God, one of these characters is not like the others and needs to be cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. General hints and tips, stuff we learned through experience, and lots of research. In the upcoming week, do we have anything planned? I think we are going to visit an interesting coffee shop.
Oh yes. So there's an exhibit of coffees essentially happening at, where is it?
It's called Cafe Frey. So if you are in London, I think they have some other branches actually. So just Google it. It's spelled C-A-F-E, Cafe Frey, F-R-E-I. And they do kind of like coffees from around the world.
Yeah, they've got, what is it, Hungary, UK.
So no, they got like Rome, Tuscany, Milan. They got
French coffee.
Europe, Africa,
Africa.
Latino,
Yeah, so
Arabic coffee, American coffee. There's a little bit of Japanese coffee for our anime manga fans. Malaysia. They even got like
there's one coffee here called Samurai Matcha Cappuccino.
Can you get more Japanese? Oh, there's a Kyoto plum cream.
There's also Tokyo Ginger Frosted Raspberry. Why raspberry? V60 Japanese Black Coffee.
Yep.
Jeez.
And there's Tokyo Chocolate Raspberry Origami Coffee, whatever that will mean.
I don't know.
There's Arctic Coffee, Glacial Coffee.
I see Cannes ice cream coffee and I am immediately like, want.
Yes.
Ethiopian ice caramel ginger latte.
Yeah. I wish we were sponsored. I wish this was a sponsor segment. We deserve to be sponsored by Cafe Frey, but we're not. We're just really excited about the coffee.
We're such adults. We love coffee.
Yeah.
But we like it sweet and creamy.
Yes. There's Australian, Argentinian.
Yeah, Panama ice chocolate.
Yeah, Madagascar caramel.
Why is it that all the Mexican ones have chili in them? I don't. Mexico, I know you like spicy food, but stop putting it in everything.
Yeah.
I was looking at the menu for this Mexican restaurant. I forget what it's called,
Yeah.
but all their desserts were like chili chocolate, chili caramel.
Oh
and
my
I'm just like,
God.
stop.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Spanish cinnamon cortado.
Yes. We are just going to
OD on caffeine.
overdose on the caffeine. And we might even not have a second podcast.
Because we might die.
Because we're dead.
We'll ask the
We'll get a decaf. For the rest of the day, we're just going to be shaking.
I don't know what to do, so I don't cut my hands.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to explore that this week. So
Once we also discuss,
of course.
our Flare project.
Yeah.
we're going to use as much of our free time as we can on the project so that we can make some headway.
Genuinely, I am like using up so much of my time. Literally on the train to work, I just got like notebooks out and just scribbling away. And
I'm not as hardcore because I'm more of a consultant and
Yeah.
communicator in this case, but
when I see people like who got on the same station as me, and then I'm like scribbling away, and they steal a seat which has become free, and then they just go to sleep. I'm like, I would kill you right now for that seat, so I could have somewhere comfier to write on. But you know, it's London, so cutthroat for seats. Primo seats on the underground. No.
Hey, I get up to give up my seat to people, you know,
Who need it?
Who
And
need it?
me being
a young strapping man.
some dude, it's just like, oh, he's fine. I'm just like, cry face. I have like literally 20 more stops to go and like see her. Just, yeah, life is hard.
We've got pretty long commutes. My one's an hour and a half.
Yeah, and my one's like an hour, which isn't. We're not saying it's the worst.
It's not the worst.
It's not the worst,
Yeah,
but
it's shitty nonetheless.
like, let's just all agree that commutes to work are the most depressing things in the world, and they
Yes.
suck.
And ended that.
Yes. Anyway, I think
We've gone on for long
we-
enough.
Yeah, what happened to the whole 30 minutes to an hour long podcast? It's like an hour 50 now.
It's almost at 2 hours actually.
Good God.
We talk too much.
We talk too
Warn
much.
us like next time. Or, you know, if you want it to be this long, or if you want it to be shorter, or if you want it to be longer, let us know. We will oblige happily.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below.
You.
Like, I mean, like, just let us know however. You know,
Yeah.
it's just be chill and just tweet us or whatevs. We're free, always open. Yeah, we're just here to have a good time, have a good chat.
And, you know, learn, teach, all at the same time.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll make some decent progress with the projects.
For our next update.
Before our
The
next
next
update.
podcast.
Yeah, and I think that will just about do it for episode 1 of our podcast.
Bye bye.
So bye bye, have a good week. We'll see you next time.
짠해.